What is real self-protection? Well, I'm going to answer that real soon here in a clip that I just saw the other day that kind of nails it. But before we get to that, listen, if you are ready to start building your program to minimize the chance of violence entering your life, to understand exactly what you have to and don't have to respond to, go to timlarkin.com. Get our 30 plus years worth of experience start being sent to you immediately for free, uncensored. Because remember, there's a lot that I have to put up on YouTube and I can't say everything that I really want to say. But if you go to timlarkin.com, we give it to you unvarnished. Probably the number one thing I get from people all the time is, hey, Tim, how do I know when to take action, when not to take action? With situational awareness, and I've done a couple of videos on those and this, that, the other thing. A lot of it is really understanding human nature and understanding violence. When I say that, I'm not talking about in some cloakroom where you're going back and forth and everybody's drinking, Chardonnay, and we're talking, you're trying to figure out what the other guy's, mental strategy is during the talk. No, I'm talking about something happens outside of your comfort zone in the street. You recognize it right away. And then you're thinking, do I need to take action? Do I need to get out of here? How do I act in this situation? What's right and what's not right in the situation? Well, the most infamous man on the internet actually is 100% right in this particular clip that I'm going to show it to you right now. Yes, it's Andrew Tate. I got to say, he nailed it on this one. He talked about an event that happened to him, and I'll talk about an event that happened to me after this. But I want you to hear what he says. Listen, it's going to be unpleasant. If you don't like the guy, I get it. But again, what have I told you? I told you some of the best information on your self-protection comes from the worst parts of society. Why? People like this see violence oftentimes. One thing about Andrew Tate is he's been around it, and he speaks very clear about it. Regardless of what you think about him, the information that he's about to share is absolutely spot on if you're willing to listen. All right, let's hear what he has to say.
It's 4 a.m. Club just ended. I was in a chicken and chip shop. It's an English thing. They sell like fries and fried chicken. And there's a long line. An Audi with tinted windows pulls up. These 3 big black guys get out, push straight in front of the whole line, go straight up to the front, cut in front of 5 people, and start ordering. My girl goes to me, "We've been waiting here ages." I said, shut the up.
So yeah, does he talk to his girl harshly? Yeah, he talks to his girl harshly. But let's ignore that for a second. Why? What did he recognize? Audi pulls up to a very busy shop. Very busy fast food shop, 4 a.m, clubbing all night, and an Audi with dark windows pulls up. 3 large African-American guys get out, and they aggressively go to the front of the line. The women are looking at it from a justice standpoint. Oh my God, how are these guys able to do this? Well, he's able to stop his girl from continuing and challenging these guys because he understands there's something wrong here. Something doesn't make sense. Look at the guy that doesn't control his girlfriend's ability to talk.
She was, "You're just going to let them push it?" I said, shut the up. Anyway, 2 in front of me, he couldn't tell his to shut up. She's like, excuse me, there's a line. And the guy turns around and goes, "You think I don't see the line? I don't care about the line." So she starts running her mouth. Bro, this dude knocked her the out. Clean, out cold. By the time her man looked at her and looked back up, boom, sparked. Done. And I stood there and watched both of them just laid out clean. The 3 dudes who ordered the chicken and chips didn't even take their food. They started laughing, walked back out, got in the car. And I turned around and said to my girl, "You see, some people are just ready to go to jail. Some people are ready to kill people over nothing."
That is spot on. That is spot on. They were looking for it. He recognized it, and he was able to control his woman on that. Now, listen, this isn't an anti-woman thing or anything. There are plenty of guys that do. I see plenty of guys that see something that they think is injustice. There's another famous one I have of a pizza situation where a guy comes in and he thinks somebody cuts in front of him, not recognizing the signs that something's wrong here. These people are very comfortable doing this. Why are they comfortable doing this? Why? They're willing to back it up with violence. They're willing, as Tate said, to go to jail over this. They don't care. You have a lot more to lose than people like this, and you need to recognize when they operate. You need to recognize when you are able to get yourself out of there and not participate. That's your smartest move. Don't play the game. Don't take the bait. Doesn't mean you're being a punk. It doesn't mean that you're like, you don't know what you're about to step into. I remember for me, I had a story almost exactly like that. I had a very attractive friend of mine, and she used to go with us. We used to go down to Tijuana all the time when I was in the military. And we used to go down there and we'd go to the clubs down in Tijuana. And we had a great time. She was a beautiful blonde, and she went off and she met a couple of the Mexican guys that were there that were the club owners and took it up. It was in Babies in Tijuana. And we kind of knew it was probably owned by, now it's called the cartels, but we knew it was probably drug guys back then. But again, it wasn't as well known to us back then as it is now. I could tell that it was getting pretty late, and that, Leslie had not come back out. And there were 2 other guys with us. We were there. We were dating some girls down there and dancing and everything. And we said goodnight to the girls. And we had to head back because we had to get back to base. We had to get up early the next morning. And we were looking for Leslie. Well, she finally comes out. And my one friend got a little pissed because he had to get up really early in the morning. And he's like, Leslie, come on, we got to go. Well, that didn't sit well with the Mexican guys. I was in the back of a car at the time. These 3 kids came up to us, very well dressed to the nines, not big guys at all. I mean, I was much bigger than all of them, much more threatening looking than all of them. And my friend wasn't a punk either. He looked, he looked like he could handle himself, and he could handle himself. That wasn't the point. These guys were fearless. They came up and they just got right in our faces and just dressed us down saying, just shut up. We're talking to her. She'll leave when we say she's ready to leave. And she wasn't being mistreated or anything like that. There was none of that going on. They were just trying. She's a very attractive girl. I'm sure they're trying to, close the deal, get her number, whatever. What was interesting was I immediately recognized my situation. I'm stuck in the back of a car, and it's a 2-door car. And for me to get out would have been next to impossible. I'm pinned in here. I actually recognized one of the guys. It looked like he was carrying. All of a sudden, I'm going, oh, wait a minute. These guys have weapons. All this stuff just started to hit me right away that I realized, also, I'm in an area that, guess what? It's not my country, not my rules, not my city. And these guys are very comfortable because they have all 3. And I could tell that they had no problem escalating to whatever needed to be escalated. So I quickly took over the talking. I backed everybody up. I remember I looked at him and go, hey, your country, your rules. And the guy just nods his head and he keeps talking with her. She eventually gets in the car. She apologizes all over the place. She then proceeds to tell us as we're driving home how she was scared shitless because she was upstairs and they were showing her all the weapons rooms and everything that they had. Automatic weapons everywhere, cash everywhere. It was she had no idea that these guys, she thought they were just, club guys like club guys up in San Diego. I was like, no. These guys are cartel guys. They were druggies, very powerful guys, probably part of the Felix family, Areno family that was down there, that was running Tijuana at the time. The reason I share this is because, again, it wasn't a question of my capabilities. I was actually I was at my prime at that point as far as my ability to fight, had some experience, going down to South America at that time, all sorts of stuff. But I knew right away this was not the place to do it. I was completely in a compromised position. My friend was oblivious to the true risks and that I had to pay attention to everything that was going on. I needed to what? Shut up, open my eyes and listen. And I did. And I was able to negotiate with these guys without backing down, without showing fear, but giving them the respect. All this guy wanted was respect. And I gave him the respect. I allowed them to finish, and they allowed us to leave alive. Not a bad deal. So listen, most of the time we get in trouble is because we let our emotions react and we don't stop to take a breath, look around, and figure out what we're dealing with. We get so caught up in whatever the perceived slight is or the perceived annoyance is or the rudeness or whatever it is, and we stop to recognize, well, why are they so comfortable being this way? Is there more to this story? Is there something I need to know? And again, it's how you conduct yourself. And I will tell you that the more you train to use the tool of violence, the more you train for worst case scenario and learn how to put a 1-to-1 ratio in the injury to the human body and the things that you have to do to be able to survive violence, the more likely you are to stop yourself and get yourself out of situations long before it gets bad. Why? The training just makes you aware of that. That's what really helps you with your quote unquote situational awareness, is understanding what it takes to survive violence. If this is something that you're interested in, you want to delve deeper, you want it uncensored, you want it unvarnished, go to timlarkin.com, give us your email. We'll start sending you great free information right away that will allow you to put together a plan to minimize the chance of violence ever coming in your life. Because believe me, you don't want to use the tool of violence if you don't have to. All right, until next time, stay safe.